Hi, my name is Sadie, and today I'm going to talk about my full experience with Mexico Bariatric Center. So, my procedure that I got done was the SADI-S, the SADI-S surgery, and I'm 7 days post-op, so it's pretty fresh in my mind, everything that happened, so I just wanted to share my experience. So, first of all, I got on a plane to San Diego and I got a text from the driver the night before, and then I got another text as I was arriving. It was pretty straightforward. She told me where to meet her, and there was a couple other patients that were waiting too, so that felt pretty comforting. I met kind of a friend while I was waiting, so that was pretty comforting. We drove through San Diego all the way through Tijuana, and I kind of just had the thought like, okay, I passed the border, like we're really doing this. And I felt comforted because I had like people with me and everything. But anyway, we passed the border. I arrived at Hospital Azar, and my first thought was like that it felt safe. The hospital was clean. There's a lot of like pretty windows to like show Tijuana off. And I decided to stay at the hospital. A lot of people go to the hotel like the night before, or like if they have a companion or something, but I went by myself, which was pretty scary and I felt like was pretty brave. But yeah, I went by myself, so I decided to stay at the hospital the whole time. So they brought me back to my room. Well, first they asked like some health questions and took my blood pressure, did the EKG, asked some health questions, and I like cleared all of that. I was kind of worried that like maybe I'm forgetting something that like disqualifies me from surgery or whatever, but it was all good. And then I went to my room and it was so pretty. Like they had like these big windows, and it was like a private room, so I wasn't sharing with anyone. Obviously like a hospital bed, and there was a TV that had like Netflix and stuff like that on it. So the first day, I was still on a clear liquids diet. So you do the clear liquid diet the 2 days, like the day before and then the day you arrive. So I was on a clear liquid diet. I pretty much just chilled that first day. They brought like a tray of clear liquids every once in a while, like chicken broth and jello and like an electrolyte drink and apple juice and things like that. So I felt taken care of that way. And then they gave me my surgery time for the next day. And because I was in the hospital, I think this is why I had like the surgery. I think it was probably the first one of the day. With my surgeon was Jacqueline Osana. So I went to bed that night. I was fine. I was just so focused. Like I was like, I'm ready for this. Like I was a little nervous, but I was like, I'm ready, you know? I've been waiting for this for a long time. So the next day I got into like a hospital gown. They told me to shower and to not shower with any like soap or anything. So I showered. They gave me like a hospital gown. They offered compression socks, but I brought my own compression socks because I heard on the Facebook group that the compression socks suck that they gave you. So I brought my own, and then I just kind of waited till my surgery, and then my surgeon came in and she talked to me and she like explained the procedure like once again and like made sure there was no like health issues or whatever. And she was really nice and really had good bedside manners, and she seemed very knowledgeable. She does have like an accent, but I was able to understand her just fine. And then the anesthesiologist came in shortly after and went over my health history again and just asked me some questions and asked if I've ever had problems with anesthesia and stuff like that, and if I've had any surgeries. And I told him everything I have had. And then, yeah, I just waited a little bit longer, and they brought a wheelchair in, wheeled me to the operating room. Like, I got on this bed, and like, I'm like in the OR. Like, I'm like on this bed, they're putting my legs up, people are talking Spanish, doing all these things on the side. And this one lady that was really nice was like talking to me and like asking kind of small talk, but also asking about my health history. They just really want to make sure everything's good, like before they do this. And yeah, and then like I don't even remember falling asleep. Like usually when I'm under anesthesia, I remember them putting the mask on me. Like I remember falling asleep. But this time I was like talking to this lady and then I woke up in this other room. I woke up in this other room. I don't know if it's like recovery room or whatever. There's other patients like between a curtain. And I woke up and the first thing I said was, "Did it go okay? Am I okay?" You know, and they're like, "Yeah, it went okay." And I immediately noticed on my left side that it hurt. Like, it hurt. And I was like, "My left side hurts," you know? And they're like, "Well, you know, we'll take care of you when you get to your room or whatever." I wasn't there very long in the recovery room. I was just awake, kind of like dozing in and out, like awake and not awake and whatever. And then they wheeled me to my room. I forgot to say, earlier that day, they had put an IV in me. So I was on like IV fluids, literally almost the whole time I was there. From surgery day to when I was leaving, like days, I was on fluid on it through an IV. Just to keep me hydrated and stuff. They were putting like medications through my IV. And the first day I could only have ice chips. I couldn't even have clear liquids before. But you know what? It was so weird. I didn't feel hungry. Like, it was totally fine. I did well with the ice chips. My nurse was really nice. Like, that first day, they all have an accent. And only one of my nurses didn't speak English, but he was able to, like, figure out what I needed. So it was totally fine. There was a couple times I asked for things, like throughout or needed help with something. And honestly, I kind of thought some of the times it took a little bit too long. That was my like one little complaint, is I'm like, it took a little long to like help me, you know? And then the next day they did a leak test. It's where I'd like drink some contrast. That was like the first liquid I had, and I was like, I'm kind of scared to drink this because like what if something's wrong? And I like drank it, and he said drink it fast or whatever. So I drank it, and I could like, they had like this screen where you could like see the liquid going down like through your body, and he was like really quiet, the guy doing it, and he was kind of like watching it, and I was like, oh, does that mean like something's wrong? You know? But then he was like, yeah, you passed. And so I got to go back, and then I was back on clear liquids, which was nice. I was a little nervous to like try like liquids because I don't know, I was just like, I have a new stomach now, what if I get too full? And so I did just fine with it. I haven't had any acid reflux, no nausea. I still don't. 7 days post-op. So, but they gave me nausea medicine anyway, even though I was like, I'm not nauseous, but probably just trying to like keep up on it. My left side still really hurt. It was hurting. It still hurts. Like, it's really sore. Obviously not as bad as that first day. It's gotten better every day. But my left side, that did hurt. And like I had to walk around like pretty much right after surgery and like throughout. They said 10 minutes every hour. So I had to like walk around, and the first day I was like it hurt so bad. But by the last day I was like walking just fine. But one thing that everyone talks about is the gas pains. I'm so glad I brought a heating pad because that seemed to help a lot. And I brought some gas X strips. With the gas, I still have gas. Like, I can feel it like bubbles up, or it like goes in my shoulder or my like in my chest or whatever. And I'm like, it hurts. Not like excruciating, like not as bad as my left side hurting. I forgot to mention, I have 5 incisions. They're not placed how I thought they would be. I don't know how they are for other surgeries. Like, I didn't have a drain or anything. But I have, like, 4, like, right here and 1 up top. And after a couple days of being on fluids, my IV went bad. And it got all swollen, and then I bruised up pretty bad. Even, like, when they took it out and I went to go take a shower, it was bleeding so bad. I had to push the emergency, like, help thing, like pull it, because I was like, it is bleeding so bad, like, because you're on blood thinners throughout. At least I was. She helped me right away. She came right away, so that was no big deal. Okay, then the next day I was discharged, and they like went over my medications. I had quite a few medications that I had to take, like throughout the day, like different times. I'm off a couple of them, but some of them I have to take for like 20 or 30 days. But they went over medication, like how to clean your incisions. It was good. And then they got to like where your payment is. I hear that pretty much everyone has extra charges because you have to pay before you even get to Mexico, like the amount they anticipate that you'll pay. I had a high BMI fee because my BMI was like 50, a little over 50, and I had a hiatal hernia, which they required for you to fix, but I already knew I had one before I left, so I already paid for that part. I had a couple extra medications, like for that side of my pain, that pain on my side. So after everything was paid for, like the surgery, the medications, the high BMI fee, the hiatal hernia fee, I paid about $7,000, which in the States, as quoted, which this is like a good rate for the States, $16,500. So I'm like, I'm not even complaining. And I had gotten a loan for that. And then we got up in the little bus thing with all my surgery siblings, and we headed off. It took a while to get over the border, but they do have like a medical line, like a special line that's like shorter for, I think, just for like medical people. I don't know. I can't read Spanish, so I don't know. But it took a while, and honestly, like, I forgot to say, we stopped at the pharmacy before we went through the border. So we stopped at the pharmacy, I grabbed some medications that I needed because it's way cheaper in Mexico. And I've done fine with those medications. And then we headed to the border, and it took a while to get through. Not too bad, like an hour, which I've heard some people wait like 5 hours. So it was okay. And then like he grabbed our passports, and then the border patrol person like looked through each one and like came to the back of the bus and was like, is this you? Like, where is Sadie? And yeah, so it was all good. And then she just asked like, do you guys have medications? And we're like, yes, we all do, you know. It was fine. We just went through, got to San Diego, my flight home. I had to wait quite a while because my flight wasn't until 5:30 and we had left at like 11 or so I had to wait a while, but it was all good. Made it home. So far, no complications, no reflux, no nausea. My incisions are healing good, and my pain is going away. I'm like less sore. So yeah, all is good. I would recommend this place. I feel good about my decision. I felt safe. It was a clean environment. My surgeon knew what she was doing, I could tell. And so yeah, I highly recommend Mexico Bariatric Center. I'm going to be posting my whole journey with the SADI surgery, after the SADI surgery, and probably other kind of videos too. But if you want to subscribe and follow my journey, that would be awesome. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.